What's up, YouTubers? Larry TJR Sim here, and today we are going over my brand new PC build. This is the first one I've ever put together by myself, including sourcing all the parts, installing them, and all that. Installing the hardware is actually not too hard. I think the hardest thing about a PC build is figuring out where everything plugs in. That's probably the most challenging part for me. But anyway, I had some practice with my iBuyPower that I've had. It's, I think, 5 years old now. And, as far as upgrading GPUs and hard drives and upgrading the CPU cooler and stuff. So I wasn't completely in the dark, but I would consider myself a beginner for sure. So sources like Paul's Hardware, Jay's 2 Cents definitely inspired me to build my own. And which was awesome. Actually, I've been wanting to build a PC for a long time, and it actually works. This is what's crazy. So anyway, let's run down the parts list of what I went with, starting from the outside and then working our way in. Hopefully this won't be too long. But I have a Thermaltake View 71 case. This is the 5mm glass all the way around. Looks beautiful. Sucks in air, of course, through the tops there that you see, the sides, as well as here. So it is, a floating glass looking case that actually pulls in a lot of air. Has these little quick release knobs here, top and bottom, which are nice, and I really like that. And they are removable, so you can actually remove the glasses on each side, remove the top, remove the front one, and really lighten up the case when you're trying to work with it, as well as not getting fingerprints all over it. Although I worked with it with the protective skins on the glass. But anyway, I took all of them off. It really opens up the case to get your hands in there. This is a full tower case, so it's actually a lot of fun to my little girl. A lot of fun to build with, and actually for a beginner, I think a full tower case is a lot easier to mess with, because if you got some bigger hands like I do, it's easier to mess with. So anyway, not to sound redundant here, let's go on. It comes with the USB box that you see there, which is nice. Get it the glare. This glass is glary. Anyway, the 3 fans that come with it plug into this USB box, and the USB box into your motherboard. They do not plug into your motherboard directly like I was originally kind of thinking they did, until I found that box in the case. That box was actually where all the screws and stuff go that come with a new case. So I was like, oh, okay, here we go. We plug into this box. I originally wanted to run with the I'll show you here, TT Sync controller box, and this is originally what I installed on here, and I had all the fans plugged into this one, so I could have a cleaner look basically back here, less wires and stuff. But that does not plug into this. So because that's a 5-pin, this is a 9-pin USB, so that doesn't even plug into your motherboard either, which would be a 4-pin for your fans, or a 3-pin on some older ones. So a little bit of working around kind of thing. So I was gonna have to end up using 2 boxes as it was. So what I found out is, yes, go ahead and go with that box. I didn't find a plug that was a 5-pin to like a 9-pin that you would use to plug in here in the sides. So I was like, okay, I'll just go ahead and use 2 boxes. I'll use this one for the top rings and the rad, and of course use this one here for the case fans. Well, once you get further into the build, another great thing you find out is that everything fires up, the rings will not light up. And the reason the rings wouldn't light up, the fans, the LEDs on the fans, was because I needed a 5-volt out to the motherboard to signal them to light up. So this particular motherboard, even though I sourced it all through PC parts picker and stuff, does not tell you that. So and honestly, the PC parts picker just tells you what parts are compatible with each other, but not necessarily your accessories. So when I looked on here, this works with ASUS Aurora Sync, Gigabyte RGB Fusion, and where does it say? It also says it works with MSI somewhere. Here's all saying Gigabyte. Thermal take, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, on the website, it shows that it works with the MSI as well. But it only works with a couple models of the MSI motherboard. So I had to uninstall this one and go with the boxes that come with it. Now, these boxes come with the Rad 360 that I have on there, as well as the ring up here. So 3 ring fans up there. No big deal. It's just something you encounter, I think, in builds, and I definitely would not mind that being the only issue of encountering as a problem. So, all right, so let's get into it further. Let's start diving in. See what's inside here. Oh, you know what? And also for the case, if you're curious, here is the top board. Power buttons over here. You've got, what, USB 3.0, 2 of them, and USB 2.0, 2 of them as well. You got your headphones, your reset, and your mic. Alright, so we'll open this bad boy up. We'll pull up a chair. Okay, what we got going on here is an X299 motherboard build with a Skylake X7820. This is an 8-core processor. Went ahead and spent the extra $100 going from the 6-core to 8-core. And the reason I went with this X299 build was because I wanted to later on update to an i9 processor. And the X299s at this particular time of building, i9s only come with, or only fit in an X299 board. So couldn't go with the Z370 or anything like that. Which, oddly enough, the cost rolls out to about the same anyways with these components, within a couple $100. X299 being a little bit higher. So, yeah, for future-proofing, the X299, I think, was the way to go for sim racing build, gaming PC build. So, what we got here as far as internals go is a thermal take 360 Rad with the Rgb 14 fans. Got it all hooked up to the motherboard there. I am running a G.Skill RAM 3200 speed RAM, megahertz, I guess. 32 gigs of RAM. You know, I like the uniformity of it. I think you only need 16. So, you know, there's more for researching, right? So you go 16 gigs of RAM and, you know, you research some games like GTA 5 and other intensive games, and you run really close to using up 16 gigs of RAM. So 16 seems like the minimum, but I run VR most of the time. And I've seen some videos of showing that the VR is going up to, you know, 20 gigs of RAM usage. So, you know, let's go ahead and bump it up to 32, be a little bit of a safety net there. Plus, uniformity of having 2 on each side actually looks pretty damn cool too. But you can see here the board runs pretty cool. I think that's the temperature rating there, 25 degrees Celsius. I have it going on in like a rainbow mode, so the board, you can control it with the Mystic lighting setup, which is actually pretty cool as well. Because I can control the fan lights, the board lights, the RAM lights all together, which is really cool with one software. So I like that. All right, moving on down the list here, we've got the GTX 1080 Ti, and I actually sourced that out of my old build. And then we were running with another sound card. This is so I can run my transducers. This is a Sound Blaster Z, and I also have a USB expansion port right there. That's the reason for the SATA cable coming up in here. I didn't want to have to run that, but I wanted power going to them as well, although you don't have to have power going to them. But at the end of the day, I want performance, so over aesthetics. So I went ahead and ran the power to that as well. And of course you see the power supply, PSU's 850W. From what I've read after the fact, this may not be enough for once you start running into an i9 processors and start overclocking a lot and stuff. So I may end up upgrading that later on, but it also has RGB fans on it as well, which is pretty cool. They only change lights with the button on the back. They are not synced in with the motherboard, which wasn't really a big deal to me. And yes, the case fan is blowing up. That's the way it's designed, instead of pulling cool air from the bottom. But yeah, works fine. This whole system actually runs really cool. Now you'll see the blue wires there. I wasn't very happy with how this turned out. I went ahead and bought the Thermaltake wire, cable mod kit, basically like cable mods have them. And the quality of them was actually pretty good. They're a little stiff, but I don't like how this arrangement goes for your GPU. And they don't have the little splitters here to keep them all bound together nicely. So I would not re-buy these in the future. And also you'll notice I had to use my stock black ones there for the Thermaltake, because even though I ordered the correct part number, the 24 pin out was not correct as far as plugging into the power supply. So I had to run the stock one here for the 24 pin to the board itself. So it is what it is. That's what happened. I will probably order a separate one down the line and replace it. I may even replace these with some cable mods. I think they're a little bit higher quality at the time, but anyway, all in all, it looks pretty damn good, I think. It would be nice if you had a case cover in here to hide these wires. That would be really nice, maybe with that open top so this shines out, obviously, and then covering up the wires and stuff. But that's the only thing I didn't care for, was the wire kit. It does look better than the black ones, but not as good as some of the other ones I've seen. All right, so moving on. I think that's about done. Oh, the motherboard, if I didn't say that already, this is the X299 M7 ACK. Comes with all the bells and whistles. Now, as far as the hard drives, it has two M.2 drives on there. I got it set up in RAD right now, even though I'm just using one. I do plan on running another one, but what's in there right now is a 1 terabyte Samsung 970 EVO. It's in the top one, which is underneath the graphics card. NVMe drive to go as fast as, and my thoughts on that is for sim racing and VR, I'm gonna be running off of that drive because that's really what I use the most, is VR with sim racing. So I want to have the fastest read speeds as possible at 2280 megabytes per second. So that's what I went with, over SSD being around 550. And yeah, I think that'll work out good. I haven't put it up on the full motion rig yet. More testing to come. Hopefully I'll be able to upgrade the VR experience as far as upping the graphics more and stuff. More settings to come. If you've already seen some of my other guides as far as preferred settings with my old build, there'll be some new ones coming out going with the Oculus Rift and the Samsung Odyssey as well. So and of course for the back side, what I'm running is a Crucial MX500 2 terabyte. That's going to run other games as well, kind of like from the Forza 7 Xbox side. Uplay I'll run on that. Origin I'll run on that. Those games I'll run on that. And then I have the 8 terabyte Barracuda 256 megabytes, which I would note, if you go to build a PC somewhere like iBuyPower, CyberPower, or something like that, none of them give you the option for a 256 megabyte HDD. So you go buy it yourself. That's kind of one good reason of upgrading or doing a PC build yourself, because you get exactly what you want. You can get the fastest hard drives possible So yeah, that I was able to get the 256. Most of the options are 64 or 128 as an upgrade for megabytes per second. And of course, obviously the same storage capacities. So, going through Amazon, I was able to get the 256 megabytes, which I was happy with. And then you can also, this is Optane ready, so I could put an Optane drive in there if I wanted to. It's like 57 bucks or something for that, and boost up for my 8 terabytes. Boost up the read speeds and stuff. So it's basically 32 gigs. You get 16 or 32 gigs Optane drive. This motherboard is ready for that, but I'm not going to worry about that because for now, I may do it later. I don't know. Haven't decided, but the 8 terabytes really just for storage. I'm going to store like, pictures, backgrounds, and stuff like that off of that drive, not running games off of it. So I'll have the fastest drives for that. Anyway, that is it. I will do some more testing on some video games. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and this look of my new build. It was actually a blast to do and took quite a bit of time, a good full day to build it and get it up and running. Flashing the BIOS, updating the BIOS, and then of course loading Windows was pretty easy. And I'll leave you a link. I was able to get the Windows, I think it was Tech Deals was who I saw it off of. But I was able to get Windows 10 Pro for $12. Yes, $12, and it works. So it's just, like SD keys is one of them. You can get them for like 30 bucks, I think. Or that might have been the $12 one. But anyway, I had his code there. He was actually very helpful too as far as watching his videos as well, as far as how a build goes. But anyway, yeah, you can save a couple $100 on not upgrading to your Windows by finding some keys and stuff online, just like I do for my games. Like cdkeys sells games for a lot cheaper. So yeah, you can do the same thing for Windows. Anyway, I think Paul's Hardware talks about it as well. I think you can get them for around 30 bucks or something off of the ones he was using. I think it was Kingwin, like the words penguin, but with a K, was another place that sold them. Anyway, that is it. More to come. I will list out everything that I bought on Amazon and most likely Newegg links as well. There'll be affiliate links for you. It doesn't cost you anything by using them. But they are, kick back some money for the channel so I can buy more stuff to review. And incidentally, I actually use that for other people's channels like Tech Deals. He had the links for all these components because he was using the exact same motherboard that I went with, and I used his links. So he should be getting a little bit of kickback as well. So, it doesn't hurt to use links that are already there for people. Anyway. We'll check you later on the flip side, give you some more reviews on VR with this new bad boy. We'll check you next time. I'm out.